Welcome to Deep Conversations Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Stewart, and today I am here. I'm blessed to be here sitting with Darrin Phillips, aka Maeja Att.
You
Let's
got
get
it.
it. Yeah, let's get into first of all, talk to me, man. Get the viewers a little background of who you are and where you from.
I'm from the Bronx, New York. Born and raised. Well, excuse me, not born and raised. I was born in Jersey, but I was raised in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
I've been making music since I was about 17 years old. I started really when I was 14, but then when you're a kid, you get involved with stuff, and then I came back to it when I was 17, and it's been up since then. I started my production company officially when I was 24 years old at TheTop Productions. That's what the ATT stands for at the end of my name. So it's Maeja at the top, and at the top is my production company. I've been making music now for about 20 years. I'm Dominican and black, or black and Dominican, whichever, 50-50 split.
Yeah.
I'm a people person. I love all genres of music. I'm also a DJ. I like to say aspiring because, my family like real DJs, like for real. Like they're in clubs and they do arenas and, so for me, they're like the big dogs. I'm just, I'm humble.
Yeah.
So, I'm doing my one and twos. But I'm really a producer though at heart. Like I'm not just a beat maker. Like I'm the guy that's in there with the artist, arranging the record, telling them, okay, the song should be about this. Maybe you should say it like that. Let's bring the hook in the front as opposed to after the 16 bars. And I'm also the same guy who can engineer. So I'll tell the engineer, hey, I need a reverse reverb. Maybe we can add, a delay for this portion of the song. Reverse it right here. Like I'm an overall creative, and I love to be hands-on. And I'm just having a lot of fun with it, that's really my passion. My passion is discovering new artists, new sounds, new genres, new songs. Let me tell you, if I send you songs to your phone, that means I love you. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. Now what is your, you said you started when you was younger, into music, and you fell in love in the music. What's your musical background? Where did that start from? Because me too, I can say, I'm not a producer, I'm not nothing like that, but I love music. I mean, everybody loves music. Music, it's a deep kind of way to tell your story in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So talk a little bit about your musical background, when that started for you.
Great question. So my father, Darrin Phillips Sr., actually was an engineer himself and a DJ. Like I have pictures of me at like 1-2 years old in front of a turntable trying to figure out what I'm doing.
That's dope.
That's a story. There's actually a couple stories, but one of the most famous stories about me as a child, or baby rather, it was like 2:00 in the morning and everybody was sleeping. And my parents used to have like a house over here in Jersey, and it's like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and out of nowhere all you hear is just the music blaring. And then they come to find out it's me because they had like a music room, a DJ room. So it's me there trying to figure it out. And then on top of my father being a music engineer and a DJ, my mother was a singer. So I would always hear her singing, and then my father playing music. So as a youngin', I always was naturally you're going to gravitate to wherever you see your parents do. So hearing my mother sing all the time, and then my dad with crates and crates. This is back when people had crates. Now everything's digital.
Yeah.
But I would have like hundreds of, vinyls all around me. So as I got older, it really found me again. Like I was like, wow, I really, really enjoy this. Like I was the kid that had CDs. Like I had mountain high of CDs. Like every Friday, I would used to go to Harlem Music Hut and see what new mixtape, back when DJ Clue was putting out mixtape, Big Mike, Funk Flex wasn't really doing mixtapes like that. Like he would drop here and there, little here and there's, or whatever. But like I remember DJ Clue, Big Mike, G Unit, like that, the 50, what's the word, Dipset, D Block. That's like my teenage years where it was like really, really becoming apparent to me that this was my passion,
And I think that era that you're talking about right there is, that 90s hip hop era of music was just, that was different, man. I mean, because that was you had hip hop back then, but that was an original sound of kind of hip hop. You know what I mean? We had to, you go years back and you had, Run DMC and all those guys, but when you got into them early 90s, man, and going all the way down into, like you said, in the Dipset and all, man, that music, that's
iconic. It lives in a certain space of time where you can't necessarily replicate that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, there's and especially during that time, you had specific sounds for specific groups. Like Dipset had its Dipset sound, G Unit had its own G Unit type sound. Rockefeller had its own sound.
And I say
the best year, and this is my opinion, maybe some people will beg to differ, but there's one iconic year in hip hop where everything was amazing. And what year was that? 1998. 1998 was by far, in my opinion, the most magical year in hip hop. I'm talking about, you had Rough Riders, you had Jay-Z, you had Nori, you had Big Pun, you had, even going to the South, you had UGK, Bun B, 8-Ball, MC, like Outkast.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really this is what I really do. Like, I'm for real about this. Like, I could be a hip hop historian.
And you know what? And just what you just said about all of that, going back to what you said earlier, each one that you just named had its own original sound. UGK and Outkast, and they were, those are different groups, and they're from the same, they're from the South, but everything was different. Too Short, all of them. It's just
Too Short from the West. Let's not forget about 3-6 Mafia.
That's what,
and iconic they were. They were so ahead of their time.
And you know what?
20-something years later, people are still sampling them.
People, when they were out, kind of when they first started, and my oldest brother, he got me on 3-6 Mafia. When they, I would always hear him. He had his stereo with his two big speakers on the side, and and I would just always hear 3-6 Mafia in the room, and I'm like, but when we would go places, everybody like, I don't like them. They don't, and I'm like, but like you said, they were ahead of their time. I think one of the best pieces of advice that I heard somebody say, they say, when you got a gift and you doing something, you just got to keep going. They said, because it takes, people got to catch up to what your vision is. And that's the same thing with 3-6 Mafia. Like you said, now people are still sampling them now, but nobody could get. I feel like, they were making hits, but it was like nobody was really giving them really much
traction.
No, because it was a different kind of sound. And now, how would you describe your sound as a producer?
Great question. Now, my sound has evolved. Initially, I was very, very Swiss beats, Bronx, boom boom bapish.
That's hard though. That's a good sound though.
Really, like New York, like undeniably New York. Like, you can't hear me and think that I'm from the South. No, you're gonna be like, that guy right there.
That's New York.
New Yorker right there.
Yeah.
And I embody that. Like, my persona, my sound now. I would say now, because I do different genres of music. I don't just do hip hop or rap. I would say now I've cultivated a new age or a new wave of boom bap, where I incorporate the boom bap element in a sense with the drum patterns that are really hard, but I still keep a new age twist to it, so to speak, when it comes to rap or hip hop. But I also do produce tropical club music, like my single that I released, Virgo 919, which dropped on September 19th. It's out on all streaming platforms. Major Virgo 919, out everywhere. It's definitely a tropical sound. It's like Drake meets Rihanna meets like who else could get on it and sound amazing? Maybe a Burner Boy. Like, anybody who is able to tap into that, universal Caribbean tropical market would definitely enjoy that record. But then again, I also do, the modern drill. I also do R&B. I also dabble in, dance music. I say dabble because that's not exactly what I'm proficient at.
Right.
But given I don't say the opportunity, but if somebody said, "Hey, can you make me a dance record?" I could definitely do it because I love dance music.
Yeah.
You know. So if I had to describe my sound, I would say new wave, New York hip hop for sure. I'm actually working with an artist by the name of Young H, and we have cultivated this new sound. I'm actually dropping a project with him first quarter called Breakthrough, where I produced 100% of it, and in that you will be able to hear the new sound or the new. I don't want to call it the new wave, but it's definitely a New York sound, but more modern. Because unfortunately, New York has a stigma that is associated with only boom bap. Like, you can't be a New York artist if you don't do boom bap. And unfortunately, the era of the original boom bap has long gone. And the listeners or the youngins, they don't want to hear that. Let's be real.
I know.
It's a very marginalized group of people that want to hear boom bap. And they're typically older. I don't want to call them old, but I'll say older, you know? So for me, I like to incorporate elements that even the young people will gravitate towards, because let's be honest, it's the youth that determines what is going to be popular or what's going to be accepted for the masses. Yep. So me, as a curator of music, I have to incorporate things that I know is going to attract those audiences.
I was having a conversation with somebody. As you was talking, I was trying to remember who I was talking to, but like we were talking about, I'm almost 40, so you know, I like the
Me too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I like the 90s, you know, the 90s hip hop, and I like those, you know, that kind of music. So this new age hip hop, at first I'm like, damn, you know, this ain't it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't like this. But then the guy I was talking to, he was like, that's just their sound. That's just what it is. He said, because think about back in the 70s when they was making music in the 70s, and then when the 90s came, they was probably like, this sound ain't it. You see what I'm saying? So he was like, you gotta let them just do it. You just gotta let them do what they do. That's their thing.
It's the youngins. You know, it's interesting that you say that, because when we were kids, it was in style to wear really, really big clothing. I'm talking about. Let me tell you, I'm gonna be honest.
That shit look crazy now, don't it?
Huh?
That shit look crazy now, don't it? When you look at pictures back then with them big clothes.
Cringe. I'm like, oh my God, please.
Yeah, man.
Soaking wet. I was 120 pounds. What am I doing wearing a size 36? I'm not even a 6 now.
I know. Yep. And the shirts. I'm like, the shirts, man. Now looking at it, I'm like, we was walking out the house with nightgowns on, man.
For real.
Like you said, it was like 120, 125 pounds. And what I'm doing with a 4X shirt on, man.
Why?
That makes no sense, man.
You know, but that goes again with the youth. Like now, you know, some of the things that these children wear, I feel like now it's, and I don't want to call them children because that's insulting. I would say the youngins. We call them youngins. They don't necessarily. For me, I look at it like they wear things for attention. Like they want to be the loudest in the room. It's not even for style anymore. It's just to stand out.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm again. I just the skinny jean thing for me. You know, as a man, I'm just
too much.
It's too tight. Like you, I've seen guys walking down the street with the girl, and I'm like, hey man, his jeans are tighter than her tights. Yeah, you see what I'm. It's a different. But people call me old head. Sometimes when I'm talking to some of the youngins, they be like, "What's up, old head?" I'm like, "Hey man, I'm not old though." Like, yeah, it's.
You see how it's almost become offensive. Like, first of all, I'm not old. Am I older? Yes, but I'm not old. Let's clear that up.
Yeah,
old is 60. That's old. I'm sorry. You're about to senior citizen. Okay, 65. They start giving you privileges because you're older. Okay.
Yeah.
You start that going at 30 is more bills.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Now I wanted to your philosophy as a music producer. right? Okay, for example, like, do you like to be transparent? Like you were talking about with the artist that you just had. Do you like to be transparent to where the artist has his own sound, or do you kind of like to incorporate a particular sound in all your productions?
I incorporate me because my energy translates into everything I do. I have a very signature tempo.
Gotcha.
I have a very signature sound as far as like energy. My energy is electric, I've been told. So I like to infuse that with my music every time. So, for example, my artist he's a little younger than us, but he's very much so engulfed. He came up he made a name for himself. Let me use the right verbiage. He made a name for himself using boom bap beats. And I said to him, I was like, listen, I don't do boom bap, period. I was straight to him. I said it straight up. I don't do boom bap. I don't do it. I don't even know how to do it. That's a signature type of sound that people who do boom bap beats only really do boom bap beats for the most part. And I don't do that. I to be honest with you, I couldn't even do it if I wanted to. Right. Only way I make music is the way that I do it. I'm very unorthodox. I'm the kind of guy where I'll take a bunch of different sounds. Matter of fact, I have a couple of producer homies in the other studio room, and they'll tell you the way I make beats is kind of like crazy. There's like, I've never seen anybody make beats the way you make beats. Like, I'll take claps, like not even like I just know it sounds right. I'll take this clap, that snare, that hi-hat, those drums, then I just put them together and then I start whipping up. And for a lot of people, that's extremely unorthodox, you know. But when at the end result is still very much me, you know, and I'm extremely transparent. And like the same artist, I said, listen, I'm gonna do these beats, and we're gonna figure it out, you know. And I'm like that. Like I'm very transparent with artists because if they're sensitive about, I mean, can I keep it? Is this like a PG podcast, or am I allowed to
say what you got to say? Yeah,
I'm gonna keep it fucking real. You know, I'm not gonna just because if they're sensitive about their shit, I'm also sensitive about my shit. You know, so I'm not in the business to sugarcoat, but I'm also in the business to want to make records that people are gonna want to like and want to buy because ultimately we are in the music business. And it's not just the behind the scenes business. In order to know what you have to know who you're marketing to, what is popular, what isn't popular. Like right now, New York is overtaken by the drill sound. So it's hard for you to be a New York artist and not get on a New York drill record. And my artist was a little hesitant on it, but sure enough, because I infused my energy, he was able to like, you know what? I can rock with this. You know, because my sound and my energy is very contagious, you could say.
And it's funny that you said that because I was going to ask you about, you know, some instances, you know, being a music producer, because I've heard that a lot of artists can be sensitive. You know what I mean? And that's why I was asking you about about the transparency, because I know there could be times where it's like, look, man, let's get this shit done. Like, come on, let's vote. Yeah. And I know a lot of them can be, I've heard they can be sensitive when it comes to, you know, having because sometimes they may come in and they want a particular sound. And as a producer, it's like, that's not going to sound right.
It's not going to work for you, Poppy.
Yeah.
This ain't it. This ain't it.
Yeah.
I've actually been the guy in the studio to have an artist rewrite his whole verse. Like, that ain't it. Straight face. Or I have him re-record it. I'll be like, all right, say it like this. Say it like that. Or I'm the guy in the artist where I'll take the second verse and be like, we got to make that second verse the first verse because you sound more confident here than you do there. You know? Yeah, like I'm that guy. Like yes, I'm sensitive, but I make it make sense. There's always a method to my madness because I had a corporate job that I did really well at. And something that I learned from them, you never want to explain. First of all, you never want to use the word problem. You always use the word challenge. So you never want to give a challenge and then not have an answer, because then now you're attacking them. You know, if ever I give a challenge, I always have to have a solution. Because as an artist, they're like, well, you're not going to tell me this and not have a way for me to figure it out. So it's my job to already be ahead of the game. It's kind of like psychology, you know? And you have to know how to appropriately communicate and convey your message without offending the person you're talking to. Because the minute they're offended, it's over. It's over.
Yeah. See, and that's one thing I was going to ask you, because you know, you've been in the business for so long. You said over 20 years, right?
I've been making music for 20 years. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like and it's not even about sounding cocky or arrogant, but it's like, I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know what I'm doing. And like you said, it's just like, just trust me what I'm saying, but I'm not trying to be offensive at the same time. You know what I mean? And I know with artists, they just want to get their thing out. You see what I'm saying? But it's like, this takes work, man. It ain't going to be
easy.
And it's not going to be it ain't going to be like Whitney Houston, or Jay-Z. They're not just going to come in here and you can just do one take and it be done. You know what I'm saying? And even that took work.
And there are instances where an artist can one take it if they've already practiced it a gazillion times prior to hitting the booth. Mm-hmm. I've witnessed it, you know, but that's seldom, and that's not every song, you know, because they can one take one song. All right, we wrap it up, boom, done, done deal, finished. Now the next song, let me see you do it again. They won't do it because they've dedicated so much time to that song that the next song, no, they're gonna have to put it in parts and chop it up, and sometimes finish the record. Mm-hmm. You know, you brought up something that you just brought back a memory. I was in a studio with a group with an artist named Telly. Shout out to Telly. And we were recording with a particular engineer who now is quite famous because he's a famous engineer. Telly was there, so if he watches this interview, he's gonna know exactly the time I'm talking about. I'm not gonna mention the engineer's name. And I had told the engineer, I was like, listen, for the end of the record, I want you to put a flanger effect on the whole beat. And the engineer turned back and he was like, no. And I was like, excuse me? He was like, no, it's not going to sound right. I was like, listen, please put a flanger effect on the whole beat. This is my beat, number one. This is my record, number two. Well, it's not my record. It's our record, number two. And number three, your job at this particular moment is to do what I request. Now, if it doesn't sound good, you can always hit Control-Z and undo it. But for you to just tell me outright no, that you think you know more than me as a creative, mind you, this is my creation, was insulting to me. And me and him went back and forth. We went to the point where the artist himself, Telly, stepped was like, listen, do it. Do what he said. Yeah. And he did it with like an attitude.
He liked it. He liked it though, didn't he?
Fire.
He liked it. I know. I was just getting ready to say I knew he liked it.
The artist was like, oh, this is fire. Oh. So I looked at the guy like at that point, once his reaction was all that I needed. I didn't even need to gloat in his face, be like, I told you.
Yeah, I know, because it's, and he's not gonna say fully how he felt about it, because in his, you're standing right there. Yeah, so it's like, all right.
And I'm cool. That thing, when you in this industry, if you come across too cool, then people think that they can walk all over you. But if you come across a little arrogant, a little dickish, everybody respect you.
Yeah,
because I don't want no problems with him because I already know it's gonna be woo. And I had to learn that early in the game. Like being too nice will get you played and treated like a sucker. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. They won't to you, but the minute you like get a little dickish, and I say a little because it's like there's a fine line. Don't get me wrong, there's always a fine line. But the minute you like, put that little extra in it, then now everybody's like, all right, cool, no problem. Heard you, bet, consider it done.
Yeah, because I was when I was reading your bio, and there was a small piece in there when it was saying it was like you had decided to jump into the industry, and your mother was like hold up, because it was like she didn't want you to fall into the into the industry trap. And you was like, let me just let me,
Ma?
yeah. See, and I was and as we talking, it's like you answering some of the questions before I ask it. I mean, because it's just a natural conversation be flowing, but it's with that, you jumping, you taking that leap and jumping into what what you want. I'm sure you've seen people who've come into the business as producers, as artists, and it's like, have you seen that where they're like, you're like, man, this person got some fucking talent, man, and then they get chewed up by the industry, and then it's just like they just gone.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's not for everybody, because again, I was telling you, hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. Start the conversation off with that, and I meant that. And people will come out with a hot record, think they're on top of the world, get a little cocky.
One record, that's crazy. One record.
It's
just one, man. You got to keep going.
And then they figure that they can, release the foot off the gas, or they don't got to go as hard, or they don't got to do press runs, they don't got to do interviews. Like, you know who I am? Like, who are you?
I know.
You got one song. I used to work with my cousin DJ Hollywood on Sirius XM, right? And I was his assistant. And we used to see a bunch of up and coming talent come through, and only a small select few of those up and coming talented artists actually made it for the long run. Because, like I had mentioned earlier, it's not always necessarily about the talent. It's more so about the work ethic and the relationships that you build and cultivate and maintain throughout the years. Because there are artists that are not that talented, but are very successful. Because they know how to work hard, they know how to maintain relationships, and they know how to cultivate new ones that will bring them to new levels. And I've seen countless artists just fall flat on their face. One song on the radio, that's it. They blew up in their mind, and then they release the gas, and you never hear from them again. So yeah, it's a common thing. And getting back to my mother, she was very much so against me becoming a DJ early on in life. Because, like I had mentioned, there's a few DJs in my family, and they're successful.
You did say that, okay.
I have DJ Willie, like I mentioned, DJ Willie NYC. He's a really big DJ. I have DJ Hollywood KO, who's a big DJ. He's actually on Hip Hop Nation right now.
I was going to say, because I'm from Delaware, but I've heard of him. Yeah.
Knockout Boys. I'm definitely a part of the crew. It's a family thing. So it's like when you see exactly what is involved in it, you know exactly what to avoid. And yes, there are drugs. Yes, there are, sleepless nights. Yes, there are alcohol. There is alcohol everywhere you go, every single day. So to fall into these vices, if you're not mentally mature enough or mentally ready, you will fall victim. Flat out. There's no way around it. Like, because everywhere you go, there's weed, or there's pills, or there's coke, or bottles, or whatever. So it's up to you as the human or the being to know that, hey, that's not for me. I'm not here for that. I'm here to do my job. I'm here with a purpose. I'm not here to become an addict.
Yeah, because I'm addicted to my craft, man. I don't need all the. What are some artists or producers that you would like to work with?
Start off, Swiss Beats. I would love to work with Swiss Beats. I grew up such a fan of Swiss Beats that when I started making music, my beats sounded like him. Because unbeknownst to me, as a youngin', a lot of the records that I loved were produced by him. Like Money Cash Hoes, Jigga, my nigga. Banned from TV, Noriega.
All classics, man.
Classics.
See, now you about to make. When we get off this podcast, I'm gonna have to turn on some Band from TV. I ain't heard that in so long.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
What?
That is much.
I'm trying to tell you. So yes, in addition to Swiss Beats, I was heavily influenced by Arsonist from the Heatmakers. I actually worked for him through Major Key Entertainment, which was a great experience to work with an icon, a legend. Like I was in high school going to sleep with Dipset on my radio, so then working with him, you know what I mean? As an intern, I didn't make any music with him. I ain't gonna lie. You know, the show is fine now.
But just to be around that, and you know, just to see how they move and stuff like that. That's necessary.
Yes. I'd also like to work with. I'm a big fan of Danger Hands, who is very instrumental to a lot of Timbaland records with Justin Timberlake. Right now, a huge person that I'm a huge fan of is Kate Renata. I absolutely love Kate Renata. That man does not miss. Kate Renata does like dance music. Like he blew up after doing a remake of Janet Jackson's record. I forgot the name of it. But it's one of her biggest records. Like he blew up off of that like freaking 12 years ago. And yeah, Kate Renata is huge in my book. Like I listen to funny enough, as much of a hip hop producer I am, I listen to a lot of dance music. I love it. I love dance music. You know, not necessarily.
Is that your like favorite genre right now that you've kind of moved into at this point? Is the dance music?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to call it favorite, but yeah, like I'm always moving. I like up tempo. I like fun records. I'm always into having people move. That's what I want. I want when you hear my records, you move your body. I'm actually dropping my instrumental project called Time Is Fleeting, and the entire project is like movement based. It's no hip hop, no rap. It's all like dance. It's all like Afrobeat, Caribbean tropical house.
What's that gonna be called?
It's called Time Is Fleeting. Time Is Fleeting. That's what I called the project. And I named it that because ultimately time is fleeting from everyone. And you have to make the most of your time within the time that you're given. Because if not, a year will go by and you'll be right where you were the year prior. So the minute or the second that you realize that time is fleeting, that's when it's like it'll light a fire up under your ass. And you know, it'll shift the paradigm in your life, because now you know that there's urgency. A lot of people that are not where they want to be are not where they want to be, not because they can't, because they don't move with a sense of urgency. Like if you had 24 hours to live, like the song, you imagine how much stuff you get done in those 24 hours? Yeah,
because you knew you out of here.
After 24 hours, I'm done up. So guess what? I got to make it count. So for me, time is fleeting is very true to me, because as you know, we're getting older, and it hit me that I'm like, damn, I'm not young anymore, young, but what have I done for myself? Yes, I'm a father, and I love being a father. That's my first job, my first passion. I am definitely a dedicated father. That's, you know, my first priority above everything else. But aside from that, or outside of that, what can I say I've actually done for myself? And when I came to that realization, I'm like, damn, if I was to drop off the face of the earth right now, aside from the records that I've done for other artists, there isn't anything that is associated 100% with just me. And when I came to that realization, I was like, no, I got to change that. I got to change that. And I started creating and cultivating this new wave of sounds. Because like, you know what? I'm going to go against the grain of what people think I'm going to do. And I started creating music outside of my comfort zone. And within that, I found myself becoming a broader producer now. Because now I can work with the likes of Rihanna. I can work with the likes of Ariana Grande. I can work with the likes of a Christina Aguilera. I can work with artists that are not confined to just the urban market, because I've decided that I wanted to venture out and do other things sonically and not put myself in this marginalized box. and I say marginalized not because we're oppressed in that sense, but it's like once you're a hip hop producer, that's what you're labeled as.
Yeah,
that's what you're
and that's it.
as, and that's it. But if you give yourself the title of a music producer, now it opens up the door that I can do any and every genre and not just be, you know, automatically a hip hop producer.
And the two names that we talked about earlier are perfect examples of what you just said. Hip hop producer DJ Clue, all around producer Swiss Beats. And look how, and DJ Clue was dope in what he did. I mean, but just look how far and expanded Swiss Beats. I mean, it's nothing he hasn't even just, all right, I'm gonna just say it. The way he's moved into the white space, you know what I mean? I mean, people on the
seamless.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, okay, everybody knows he's done music with Alicia Keys, but he's done music with Taylor Swift. Like, a lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's man, that's music producer. To me, you have to have a real sound. I mean, like a real keen ear for just sound and just music. Like, y'all listen to it totally different from a lot of people, how you hear songs. You know what I'm saying? So how would you say the music industry is now in its trends?
Cold. Very cold. Music industry is cold. Because I say cold because everything is about analytics. You know, the music industry or the music business. Record labels are not looking for the artist with the most talent. They're looking for the artist with the most popularity for one reason or another. You know, for example, they gave that girl $1 million, the Catch Me Outside girl. She got $1 million record deal. Now, does she have some pretty decent songs? She does. I listen to them. I got them on my Spotify. Not a hater, you know. But they gave that girl $1 million. Do you know how many other people that are not as popular as her, for being what she was popular for, that have more talent than her, that probably deserve the $1 million more? Not to take away from her, because I don't want to sound like a hater, but I just use that as an example. They saw that girl was viral. Everything she did got 100 million thousand views, likes, clicks, whatever the analytics are behind it. And you know what? We're gonna give this girl $1 million.
Yeah.
We know she's gonna be a great ROI, return on investment. You know, so I say cold because everybody's following trends. Like the trend now, for example, go on TikTok, blow up on TikTok, on TikTok. You're done. You're out of here. You're gonna go viral, kid.
Yep. Do you think that with that thought process, do you think that dilutes the music, like the music industry in a sense? Because it's like you said, everybody wants everything like right now. It's the microwave generation. Everything got to be instant.
Quick.
You see? Yeah. So it's like, so people who, I mean, that's really what it is. I think that's why everybody kind of just, well, I'm gonna say for me, I kind of always go back to a Nas or a Jay-Z or, you know, somebody who just has like a longevity, and the music never disappoints. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you got a lot of people now are just, you may have some of them sprinkled in there once every little while, but everybody's just so, I don't want to say one hit wonders, but I mean, because they're making music, but it's not
sticking. It's not lasting the test of time. You know, Drake is one of those artists that music is going to stick. It is going to last.
Yep.
Kendrick Lamar, his last project to me, phenomenal.
Yep.
Phenomenal. From front to end.
Yep.
That's why he doesn't come out with music so quickly.
Yeah.
Because there's an art and there's a bigger theme message behind his music. It's not like he's just putting out music, putting out, because that's what the age where, like you said, microwave. The record labels and even record executives will tell you, the more content or the more music you release, the more streams you're going to get, the more attention you're going to get, the more relevant you'll be, because you got to keep people's attention. The only way you're going to keep these people's attention, if you're not like a mega household name, is by consistently releasing music. Like even a big artist, even J Balvin. I love J Balvin. I'm a huge J Balvin fan. That man, I can tell you right now, the next 3 weeks he's going to drop another song. That man does not stop. Who? Without an album. Look at Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny consistently. Boom, 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 boom. And the music is good. It's really good. Bad Bunny, if I'm not mistaken, is the #1 either Latin artist or #1 artist in the world. And he's only been out for 6 years. The kid was bagging groceries in 2015 or 2016. Now he's the #1 artist in the world. And it's because he's been putting out. And again, it's not to say that his music is diluted, but it's because he's just flooding it. We live in a world where music now it's easily accessible, if not for free, damn near free. Because back in our age, either you had to buy the mixtape or listen to the radio.
Yeah.
You know, the internet wasn't as prominent as it is now.
Yep.
So now music is so easily accessible that not only getting to it is easy, but creating it, as far as, you know, recording yourself. There's people who record songs off of their phone. They hook up their headphones and now they got a song. They get a beat from wherever, from Joe Schmo. They put up a song, put it on YouTube. They use their phone to make a video, and then boom. So yes, technology, the music industry is somewhat watered down, but I feel like if it's like sifting for gold to find a artist that is going to stand the test of time, you know. And I stand behind the artist that I'm working with, young age, because of the sound that we're creating and curating, and you know, his lyrics. He's dope. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen his work. The kid works like, I send him a beat, the record is done within a day or two, and then I'll give him direction. Bet, heard you, and he doesn't even write. He just sits there and he starts putting his words together, and it's dope. So I think that the music industry has gifted us with technology, but at the same time, it has also cursed us in a way. Because, like you mentioned, there's a lot of one-hit wonders, which I'm not going to mention because nobody wants to be labeled a one-hit wonder. But you know who they are.
Yeah. Now I got one more question for you. I like to ask a lot of my guests this question. As long as you've been in the industry, as long as you've been doing the work that you've been doing, what have you learned about yourself mentally and spiritually through this whole process, from, you know, just how you started? Just what is something that you've seen in yourself that's like, damn,
I evolved? That was a great question, by the way. I can say that I've evolved. I've evolved as a musician or producer, and I've evolved as a communicator. I can definitely say, from starting making music at 17 to now where I'm at, I can definitely tell you that my evolution has been a process. Because if somebody would have told me 10 years ago that I was going to be doing dance music and tropical club and all this other type of stuff that I'm doing now, I'd be like, you're bugging, kid, you're bugging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would say what I'm most proud about myself within the music industry is my ability to evolve with the times. Because even with the drill, let me tell you, I was very much so against drill music. Not because I didn't like what it sounded like sonically, because it was such a different sound that I never really heard. The woo, 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 all that crazy bass line. What the fuck is this? It just sound like noise. What is this? You know, but to be able to keep up and accept it, and not only keep up and accept it, but actually make pretty hot beats at that, you know, and be able to adapt. My ability to adapt has grown exponentially, and I'm proud of myself for that, because a lot of people, they're stuck in their ways. Like I said, if you're a boom bap producer, chances are that's all you know. If somebody asks you to make a ballad, you're like, what?
I know.
I can make a boom bap ballad, you know.
And then it's like, it's not a ballad then.
They're stuck. You know, I think my ability to grow with the times is what I'm most proud with. most proud of, sonically, because again, music is forever changing. The sound of 2022 was not the sound of 2014. The sound of 2014 wasn't the sound of 2005. You know what I'm saying? Like every so odd years, the sound shifts. And as a music creator, it is your job to somewhat stay in tune with the trend, but make it your own. You know, and yes, I think that's what I'm most proud of, my ability to evolve and keep up.
Yeah, that's it. Where do you see music going in like the next 5-10 years?
Dance. Everything's gonna be dance. Look at Drake. He put out a whole Jersey club.
I know.
Right after that, Beyonce dropped the whole dance album.
Yeah.
Because that is a market that us, and I say us, people that look like you and I, we were always afraid to tap into, even though we were the ones who created somewhat of the dance club music. And for some reason, along the line, gangster rap music came out, hip hop came out, and it became unknown to us that we can dance. We do dance music. We do club music. We can move bodies very well, rhythmically. And I definitely, even like what I'm doing right now, my Time Is Fleeting project, it's full of dance music. It's a dance project.
I do. I want to hear that too. I ain't gonna lie to you. We're gonna have to keep in touch too, because I want to hear that, man. Yeah.
I mean, I got something pulled up right now if you want to hear something real quick.
Come on, let me hear a little something.
All right. Hold on. You know, when you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready.
I like how that flow right in there too. See?
And then, like you see, like it's already. You gotta move. You know, I won't give too much away.
See, and that too though, that's good ride music too, man. That's and I think, and like you said, that's kind of where everybody is moving to, like the instrumentals and all that kind of stuff, just that sound. And you got one of them. Once that thing come out, you gotta let me know, because I'm getting that.
The show is gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be everywhere. Do you mind if I play my single?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Hold on. This is my single, Virgo, out in Virgo 919, out everywhere. If wherever you streaming your music on, you can catch this on. So you can look up Maeja, MAEJA, ATT, Virgo, VIRGO 919, and you gonna hear this. Yeah.
That shit's smooth.
Appreciate you, Ken.
That shit is smooth, man. I like that, man, for real. And that ain't even that's my kind of sound I like though.
Exactly. It's out everywhere, my brother. Please like, link, subscribe, share.
Yeah, no, I am.
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, you name it.
Where matter of fact, where can they find you on social media and all your platforms? And I'm gonna put it up there too when I edit the video. Oh,
perfect. So my on Instagram, I am listed as DJ_Maeja, and that's DJ_Maeja, spelled MAEJA. On TikTok, I am listed as Maeja, MAEJA, ATT. On Snapchat, I'm Maeja ATT as well, MAEJA, ATT. And if you want to look for me on SoundCloud, I'm on SoundCloud too. Maeja, Maeja -att. So, you know, on Spotify, I am on Maeja -att as well. Maeja -att as well. So I try to keep it really simple. The only one that's really different is Instagram. DJ _ Maeja. Simple.
Look, man, Darrin, I appreciate you for hopping on this podcast, man. This was fun. This was fun for me, man. I appreciate your energy too, man. This was I appreciate it. And we gotta stay connected, man, because we can network together too, man.
Definitely, I'm here.
Yeah.
When it's over, damn, I wish there was a way that I could text in the chat my info. But matter of fact, on Instagram, we follow each other on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm gonna text my number, and we definitely keep up.
Got you. That's exactly what we're gonna do.
Absolutely. Let me say, I want to say thank you for having me on your platform. It's been such a great interview. I really appreciate all your questions. It was really, really fun time for me as well. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. I was like, but you know, it was fun. It was fun.
I know that's how I am too in the beginning. I'm always a little nervous in the beginning, but once we started, it was cool. Everything was smooth. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, man.
Likewise. Keep in touch, my brother.
You're on YouTube, baby.